Do you need a walker or cane to walk more safely? For seniors, there is always a big risk of falling. People over the age of 65 statistically have a 1 in 4 chance of falling each year. So it's a big problem. And a lot of people ask themselves, should I be using a walker or a cane or some type of assistive device to make my balance better? I've learned from being a physical therapist for 30 years that this is a very important question, but this is something that people are very sensitive to. And something happened early on when I was working as a physical therapist that really brought this point home. I had a gentleman who was in his mid-30s who had multiple sclerosis. He was an accountant, I remember, and he had had such a bad fall because of his weakness and his problems from MS that he ended up in the hospital with a broken hip. So when he came home, I was his physical therapist that was helping him at home kind of get back to independence. And right away I realized that his balance and his coordination was so bad that he really needed a wheeled walker. So he had a walker with 2 wheels in the front. And when he walked with that, he was completely stable. This guy walked with an absolutely normal gait pattern, walked upright. And I thought, this is perfect. So I practiced with him until this guy could walk almost a mile, and then I discharged him. I said, you know what, you're fine. I don't need to help you anymore. You don't need physical therapy. So the grocery store near this man's house had contacted the hospital. The hospital had contacted my agency because this guy had had 3 falls in the time since I had discharged him. And 2 of those, he ended up going by ambulance to the hospital because he was bleeding so badly. So I called the guy up and I said, hey, this is Doug, your therapist. I heard you fell a whole bunch of times. I heard you knocked over a big stack of cans. That's why the manager had tried to contact us. And he said, yeah, I had a couple of bad falls. And I said, I don't understand this. You're walking so good. We walked a mile. How could you possibly, have fallen? And he said, yeah, I'm not using the walker. I said, yeah, I'm not going to be caught dead outside my house with that walker. I'm too embarrassed. I can't have people seeing me walk with that walker. So this really drove the point home for me. I had a big realization that day that a lot of people, I could recommend exactly the right assistive device that would allow them to walk better. But whether or not they would take that advice and actually use that piece of equipment was a different thing. And what I had to learn was you really have to work as a physical therapist to convince someone that they're actually better off with the assistive device. And that's not a simple thing. It wasn't a matter of me just telling someone or watching them walk. They had to believe that. And what shocked me about this story, about this guy, was that he was comfortable with all of these people see him falling 15 times in 1 week and being bloodied and having to go by ambulance to the hospital. That was okay. But being seen with a walker was this horrible, embarrassing situation. So the truth is that a lot of people, this is true for them, that they would actually be safer, they would walk more, they would be more active if they used an assistive device. So there's something that I like to tell people, and I call it the shopping cart test. If when you go to the grocery store and you're pushing the shopping cart, if you feel that your balance is better, that you walk better, that you're more steady, that you can easily walk around the grocery store compared to how you are otherwise, then most likely you do need an assistive device. There's a lot of types of devices out there. There's canes, there's hiking poles, there's trekking poles, there's walkers that don't have wheels, there's walkers with just 2 wheels, walkers with 4 wheels, walkers with seats. There's all different types of equipment out there. And I agree, nobody wants to be seen with any of these pieces of equipment. No one wants to be dependent on something else. But the truth is, if you're not able to walk safely or with a normal gait pattern without one of those devices, then you're actually hurting yourself. Because if you can walk better with a walker or a cane, you're going to walk more with it. If you can go out for an exercise walk every day and feel comfortable doing that, and safe, and you do that, your walking will actually get better. Your balance will get better. Your strength and endurance will improve, and you'll better be able to maintain your ability to walk for more years of your life. But if you resist that, if you insist that you don't want a walker, mainly because you don't want to be seen using a walker, or because you believe that using a walker will make you lean forward or make you somehow worse, I have to tell you that's incorrect. That's not true. Walkers don't make people lean forward. Walkers don't make people have more disability. What they do is allow people to walk more safely and walk more. And sometimes people use a walker just temporarily to get their strength and their endurance back, and then they can get rid of it. Having to use a walker just means that you're trying to be more safe. You're trying not to fall when you're walking. And I would hope that you're getting more exercise. So the bottom line is, if the shopping cart analogy, if when you walk with a shopping cart, you feel safer and better when you walk, I highly recommend that you look into getting some type of an assisted device. You can talk to your doctor, you can find a physical therapist, family, or you can just get one on your own and see how you feel. This video is not meant to recommend a certain type of equipment to each of you that might watch it, but I can tell you, if using the shopping cart makes it easier, then you really should consider getting some type of assisted device to make you safer when you walk.